Welcome to the show. I'm Tim, and I'm not a sports guy. Shaking things up.
I don't even know when to say it because I haven't been on this side. And I'm Jacob, and I'm a sports guy.
Oh, I like it the other way. I'm sorry. I was just trying something new.
Listening.
No. None of that anymore.
Tim, you brought us in. Why'd you bring us in, Tim? Why'd you change it up?
Because today's a little different, you know?
It's a little different, isn't it?
A little different.
Today is a bonus episode.
A lot different, yeah. Yes, you guys have come to know us as the two buffoons who talk sports. Really, I'm the buffoon. Jacob.
I was about to say, I'm not really the buffoon. It's really just one buffoon and, honestly, an intelligent lad.
Semi. But this week, so you're actually headed out of town.
I'm out of town.
Yes, as we speak, or as you are listening, I should say.
Yes.
Not as we speak. But you're out of town. You're sailing across the sea.
Sailing across the sea as if I was Christopher Columbus, y'all. I'm headed...
Ocean blue?
Ocean blue.
I don't know the whole phrase.
I don't even know what you're talking about. So maybe I'm not the intelligent lad. Maybe I'm not.
Maybe you're not Christopher Columbus.
Maybe not. Maybe not. I'm actually, sailing across the sea. I am visiting uncharted territory.
It's charted, guys. He's lying to you.
Very much charted. I'm on a cruise.
Charted.
I'm on a cruise to Mexico. So
Carnival?
That's why you're getting Carnival Cruise.
Is it Carnival?
Nice. Yes, it is Carnival Cruise.
I don't know anything
on
about
a cruise to Mexico, visiting Yucatan. I think that's how it's pronounced.
Yucatan.
And what was
it's Yucatan.
Last week you said Yemeni. So I feel like you just kind of have this rolling like gimmick, I would say, calling different places. Just what was that?
I said I'll stop. Gee.
Good. Thank God. I mean, geez.
Well, anyways.
If you were from Germany and someone said Yemeni, how would you react?
I was trying to speak like in their dialect, in their accent. I don't know. I was just trying. I was trying to be respectful. I don't know.
Yemeni.
I actually do. I do work with someone from Germany.
Really? And that's how they sound? Yemeni?
No. If she listened to this podcast, she would probably not be proud. Anyways, yes. So you are out of town. We are, because of that, unable to keep you up to date with what's going on in the National Basketball Association. And so we decided to do something very differently this episode.
No need for all of that. Just NBA works.
All right. Well, just in case you guys are listening and you still don't even know what that means, we never really broke that down.
They never even covered that.
So
they probably are just like,
for.
What's NBA? Yeah. Well, I never told you. How did you know? You're supposed to be not a sports guy.
Should I rewind it?
You cheated, and you were already a sports guy.
I Googled it. But yes, can we get to this? We're 4 minutes in here, wasting people's time.
I know it.
Well, this week is going to be a very big departure from our normal routine. We are going to be talking about what our lives are like outside of sports.
Yes. Very exciting. Very exciting. Because Tim, you may talk about things that I don't even know. I don't know what you plan on talking about. You may be getting you may be getting deep and philosophical on me. I don't know I don't know what you plan on talking about, but I'm hoping maybe I can learn a few things about you this week.
And same goes to you. I'm hoping I can learn about you as well. Hopefully our lives are interesting. Hopefully you guys care to hear this, because it will be very little sports talk in this. But we think it's fitting. We just want you guys to get to know a little bit about us. But also, I feel like even though we're not going to be, mostly talking about sports, it is a part of our identity, especially because of our name. And I know we talk about this a lot, but it's called Not a Sports Guy. And the intent of the show is to get at least me and those who are listening similar to me, into sports. But that's not everything. That's not our entire identity. And so I'm hoping this will be an opportunity for us to kind of discuss what that looks like outside of, sports. What entertained me and what entertains you, before sports, right? So that's kind of the
Right.
hope.
Yeah, I'm excited to jump into it, man. We've got some backstory. We're gonna, like Tim said, we're gonna kind of tell you about, you know, what we were like growing up, what were some of our interests, what were maybe our dreams and aspirations growing up, kind of where we are now in life, what some of our hobbies are, what things we're interested in now, and then maybe some future goals that we have. Because there's only one way we're heading, and it's forward. So we got to make sure,
See what you did
maybe
there.
we,
Unless you've
maybe
got a
there's some.
rewind button.
I was waiting for it. I thought
I
you were
know.
going to click it. I
No.
thought
Not. Hey, today's a different episode. I'm gonna lay off the
exactly,
soundboard just a little bit. I'm not.
just a little bit.
We're still gonna have a listener of the day, so the air horns are coming out, right?
I hope you. The air horns, I hope, are coming out somewhere.
Well, no, the air horns will come out,
Um,
but I'm just talking about listener of the week.
yeah,
Anyways,
of course we got a listener of the week.
all right, cool.
Um,
Cool.
but we've also kind of got some fun questions we're gonna ask
Ooh.
each other towards the end of the episode. Kind of, not so serious, but maybe some fun questions to kind of get to know each other a little bit more after we kind of dive into our backstory and who we
And
are.
we've agreed behind the stage that we have to answer the question.
Exactly. No
So
matter what, even if
no
we don't
holds
want
barred.
to, have to answer it. I don't really have anything that's like embarrassing for you, Tim. So if
I
you
don't
put
either.
anything
Don't worry.
embarrassing for me,
No, I
okay,
didn't.
we're good. We're good. It's all good.
Maybe I
So
could change it up still.
no, it's fine.
No?
It's fine. I think I've got some fun. Like I'm actually really excited to ask you some of these questions. So yeah. So I'm pretty pumped up about it. So Tim, what do you say? You want to go ahead and jump into it?
All right. Well, let's start with little old Jacob.
What?
You're
Starting with me?
you're 8 years old, and okay. You're 8 years old and you're watching Saturday morning cartoons. What's your favorite? This is not one
SpongeBob
of my questions.
SquarePants.
SpongeBob. Okay, your
Hands
SpongeBob
down,
guy.
SpongeBob SquarePants was my go-to. Similar to like other people that grew up, I guess, similar age to me. I mean, I would even consider you like me and you are like within the same generation, even though we've kind
No,
of.
we're not actually.
I
I'm a
know we're
millennial.
not, but like
Okay.
me and you are very close in age, and so I would almost be like, cartoons that you grew up watching as well.
Well,
But
I didn't have cable growing up, so the cartoons I watched were exclusively Arthur
which
and
I knew of, I watched a little, not a
okay.
lot. Didn't really like
Actually,
Arthur.
that was the only cartoon I can remember. It was Arthur, and then there was like,
What about
um,
Doug?
that was Nickelodeon, I think. I didn't have
What
that.
about Rugrats?
Nickelodeon didn't have that.
What about well, I guess Hey Arnold is also Nickelodeon, right?
Nickelodeon didn't have that. No, I'm telling you, like mine were on. I can't think of
Caillou?
any other cartoons. Caillou, that was one, but I mean, that was.
Now,
I
does
mean, I
that
outgrew
even
that
count as a
quick.
cartoon? I mean, it is
It
a
is.
cartoon, but it's
I mean,
like
I have to count it as a cartoon because it was literally just. I did have WB Kids, so we had Jackie Chan Adventures.
never heard
Pokemon
of it.
aired on that. Really?
What's
Oh man, that was
Pokemon?
my jam. You never heard of that one either? Well, I thought I was uncultured.
Right.
Um, no. So, anyways, but you're 8 years old. You just got off finishing a little run of SpongeBob. What is your hobby? What do you like to do?
Oh man. So when I was 8 years old, I was really big into WWE. I
Oh
loved
snap!
pro wrestling. That was like my
Who was your
life.
Who was your guy or girl?
Jeff Hardy. The Hardy Boys were my favorite wrestlers. Yeah,
I
like
really like Tom Hardy. He's the other brother, right? The
so you were
third
a
one.
movie guy, right? The third brother, Tom Hardy. No, yeah, the Hardy Boys, they were my favorite wrestlers, and so whenever like when I was younger, I had a ton of like wrestling action figures. I had the
Nice.
rings, I had everything, and I used to
Wow.
like create my own matches and create my own shows. And I would have red expo markers that I would color on their face if they were like bleeding, you
Oh,
know?
wow. The expo, because you could wipe it off after each
Right.
match. Nice. Okay.
Exactly.
That's
And
awesome.
I still have a few like I think my mom, maybe my dad, I don't know. Someone still has like a full trunk. Like I've got like a huge case of wrestlers still that I just never wanted to give away because it was just
Mhm.
such a big part of my childhood. So if I just got done watching SpongeBob, eating breakfast, which was probably some sort of cereal, um, which Tim, what's your favorite cereal?
Ooh, put me on the spot. Um,
Maybe how about this? Does it help if I narrow it down to like when you were a kid? What was your favorite cereal?
Maybe, because I was gonna say my favorite cereal now to my knowledge, did not exist back then. But even then, probably Lucky Charms. It was either
Ooh,
Lucky
I feel like
Charms or
that's
Corn
not.
Flakes.
I feel like Lucky Charms aren't like a fan favorite because I feel like people
That's
like
wild to me.
I feel like people say like obviously the marshmallows are the favorite like part of the
Yep.
Lucky Charms. Everything else is wet garbage. That's what I've heard. What
Wet
would you say
garbage.
to
Okay.
someone that would consider it wet garbage other than the
I mean, I
marshmallows?
get it. Like, as a kid, I would eat the wet garbage first just to save, like, 7 or 8 bites of just marshmallow, so I get it. I mean, it wasn't terrible, and, like, the
Right.
longer it's in there, the more the milk tastes like the marshmallows.
Ooh,
But you
I
you
like
mentioned
that.
the marshmallows, actually, and that's so if there's a new again, I don't maybe it's has been around for a while, but I'm only recently familiar with it. It's called s'mores cereal, and
Okay,
it's
I've seen
essentially
it.
a combination of 3 classics. You've got like cinnamon toast crunch, basically, like the little
Ooh,
cinnamon squares, which
yes.
represent the graham cracker in a s'more, right? Then you've got marshmallows that are very similar in texture and flavor to Lucky Charms type marshmallows. And then
Okay.
you've got like Cocoa Puffs, which is, of
Oh,
course, the representation of the
wow.
chocolate, and just all of it together.
Nope. All of it together?
Nom nom nom, delicious,
Wow, I need
amazing.
to try that. I
You
feel like
should. I
oh,
will tell
man.
you, you have to be careful. My wife and I will buy, and it doesn't normally come in boxes. Like we'll get like the big bags, and that'll be gone
Okay.
in a night between the two of us. It's embarrassing.
Uh-uh.
It is embarrassing. Embarrassing. I mean, it's just
Dude,
hard
but,
to
like, I
stop.
could see that happening too. Like, when you say the big bag, are you talking about wait, I have had the s'mores. I have had it because I also got the big bag one time. When you
Mhm.
were talking about it, I was like, "That sounds so familiar. I
Mm.
swear I've tried this, but I have." And then, like, I know what you're talking about, the big bag size of, like, a pillow,
Yes.
and it just has cereal in it. Oh, man, that is such good cereal.
Mm.
My favorite cereal
I didn't
probably
ask you what your favorite. But
so Jeff
while we're here,
Hardy.
Jacob, that's a nice segue back. No, what was your favorite cereal? I do wanna know.
Um, Growing up, probably Fruity Pebbles. I think probably
Okay.
Fruity Pebbles. I really haven't like thought about this that much, so
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
fair.
know like how, but I just remember growing up, Fruity Pebbles was really good, still is today. Um, but today, I don't know. Maybe I might go Captain Crunch today. Something like
Wow, that's interesting because that was, like, probably a number 2 for me when I was a
okay.
kid. I wouldn't pick it now.
What
It's
about Apple
definitely
Jacks? Or no, no, no,
never
no,
was a
no.
never was a big Apple Jacks
What
guy.
was the one with the frog on the front?
Smacks.
Apple
Honey Smacks?
Smacks? Honey
That's what
Smacks, there you
mhm.
go. That
Those were
one right there,
okay.
very underrated. I could tear up that's one I
I
could
was gonna
probably eat a
say
whole
it's
bag.
definitely not a fan favorite, but
Right. I
I
could
don't know.
probably
I
eat
mean, I
that.
could eat it, but I
All
don't
the full bag, you think? I could go full bag in one night
no,
probably on one of those.
definitely not.
Hands down, I could.
What is there's some cereal, maybe those there's some that, like, tear up my mouth. Like, I could just
A
like,
lot of
even
people
if
say
the
Captain Crunch does that,
Captain
but I
Crunch is
don't
pretty
it's never
aggressive, yeah.
happened to me, though. I've
Yeah.
never had my mouth tear up from Captain Crunch. I
Yeah.
don't really get what people are getting at.
Do you let it sit for a little while? Because if you get the milk
No.
to sogify the cereal, then it probably
Sogify.
goes down a little easier, but if it's just, like, you pour the milk and then you just it's gonna cut up
It is
some
kinda crunchy. I
gum.
mean, it is crunchy. It's called Captain
It's
Crunch.
called Captain Crunch, yeah. Jeez. Alright. That's enough
Um,
cereal talk. But hey, now you
Yeah,
guys know about our cereal preferences.
right, exactly. So, but to kind of wrap back around to what I was saying, yeah, big loved playing with wrestling action figures. I was also like a big uh video game player growing up as well. As a kid, I would play PlayStation 2 a lot. So I would probably
Did you have
be
an
playing.
N64? A
I did not
Nin64?
have a Nintendo 64.
Okay. See, and I just want to point this out. You mentioned that we're close in age, but actually the first game system I had was a Super Nintendo and then an N64 and then a PlayStation 2. So
Okay.
there is some gap there.
Right.
I'm
No,
an
for
old
sure.
man.
Yeah, I think my first gaming system I had was PlayStation 1. I had a PS1, then, my mom's house got broken into, and they stole my PlayStation 1 and all the
Dang.
games with it, and so I quickly didn't have a PlayStation 1, but then I got a PlayStation 2, and then ever since then, PS3, PS4, I went through all the Xboxes as well. I was very, privileged as a kid to have all of the gaming systems, GameCube, PSP, all of it, man. That
Okay.
was a big part of my life growing up was playing video games as well. But yeah, so wrestling figures, playing video games. I was big into sports as well growing up. I played a lot of baseball, football. Didn't play as much
Shortstop?
basketball growing up. Would you say shortstop? With Didn't play shortstop. Played third base, and yeah, so I played a lot of basketball. Like I had a basketball hoop at my house, so I would play basketball at
Mm,
home, but nothing like with a team or anything like that. But yeah, so like if I ever had friends around, we'd probably go outside, play football. There was like this little grass area up in the cul-de-sac where we would play football. Um, we would play baseball, like, I'd practice pitching, all that sort of stuff growing up. But yeah, so riding bikes too. I used to ride bikes a good bit growing up as well.
I feel like that's a you just don't see that much anymore, you know?
Yeah, right? I don't know. I feel like what you see now is hoverboards. You see kids on hoverboards, stuff like
Yeah,
that. Have you tried
just
one of
it's
those?
not the same. No.
Me neither. I'm scared to. I want to, but I'm so scared I would
They
hurt
annoy
myself.
me too. Yeah, I
Why
feel
do
like
they
I'd hurt
annoy you?
myself, but, like, I don't know, kids on them, they just I don't know. I just sometimes wanna clothesline them. I'm not gonna
So
lie.
is it the hoverboard or is it the child that's
It's always
annoying
the
you, Tim?
child. Yeah, it's the child. It's because they just get on it and they just look so confident. And I guess it's part
Doing
like, man, I
360,
had to
spinning.
learn how to ride a bike. Like that was a process. And these kids, I mean, sure, there's a learning curve, but like you figure it out in like 10 minutes, especially
Yeah.
kids. Their center of gravity is way lower.
When did
You
you learn
know,
how to ride a bike?
I don't know what age, but I remember the first time without my training wheels was not with my dad. It was like a neighbor of mine who took my training wheels off, and he was like my age. I was like probably 5 or
Okay.
6. I don't even know how I figured out how to take them off, but he took them off and he pushed me down the hill,
It was
and
the
it did not
neighbor's
go well.
dad. Imagine if it was the neighbor's dad that took it
You
off
got
and
this,
taught you how to
kid.
ride. It's
Um,
funny because one of my friends also, like, the first time I rode a bike without training wheels, I was also with a friend and his dad. But yeah, that's funny. That's funny. So, what about you, Tim? Tell me about your childhood. So let's say you wake up. It's a Saturday. You wake up. You're probably eating Lucky Charms.
mm,
What are you sitting in front of the TV? You said you didn't have cable. So
didn't have cable.
what are you sitting at the table with your family? Or I mean,
I
tell me
mean, I
about
still
that.
like I said, WB Kids was my jam. Saturday mornings, Jackie Chan Adventures was a great one. Yu-Gi-Oh! I wasn't allowed to. This is a fun story. I wasn't allowed to watch Yu-Gi-Oh! And but me and my brother were really into it, so much so that we made our own Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, and
No way.
we laminate them too, like not with an official laminator, but we would take like packaging tape and just tape both sides of the paper. So they were like so official looking. We never colored them in, but we did draw like we created our own like monsters and like rules and stuff. And we'd have decks. We'd have like a deck of like 1,000 cards. My mom would find it and throw it away. And then like a year later, we'd
No.
rebuild it. That happened like 3 times.
No way. This is
Yes.
so awesome. The fact
Yeah.
that y'all made literally your own game, basically. You
Mhm.
know? Like you saw Yu-Gi-Oh! You wanted to play it, you couldn't, so you just made your
Yep.
own Yu-Gi-Oh! Basically. That is
Yep.
so cool.
It was
That is so
classic.
awesome. So you're watching WB Kids,
Mhm.
eating cereal. What's your next move? You just finished
Mm.
the bowl, you finished the bag, and then what's the
Finished the
next
bag
move?
of s'mores. Uh, we were also homeschooled for a long time, so it was just me and my brother. We had a wild imagination. We go out into the woods. We had a big property. Like we lived with my grandparents, and like my granddad owned a lot of like woods, and so we would
Okay.
just go out there exploring. We would like there were like different sections of the woods that we would like each of us would own, if you will, and like they
Okay,
had
I
their own
like this.
name, like there's a big
Oh,
rock. So like
wow.
that's the section of big rock. But then like there's
Okay.
some I don't know, some bamboo kind of growing off, and so like that's the bamboo jungle. So like
That's
there was like
really cool.
different sections, and we just go exploring out there. If you went far enough, there was like some swampland that you could cross if you were very careful.
Mhm.
And then beyond that was like a a farm, and there was always cows. Like so, they were up against the edge of the forest, and we always wanted to like go, mess with them, but
Cow
they'd always run
tipping.
off. Well, I would have never done that. I was too afraid. So I did. That was our life for like 6 years, and then fortunately, I transitioned back to school, middle school. So I
Okay.
was awkward, right? But so was everybody. So I kind of got
Right.
to. Oh, at least I like to think I got
You
out of the
got in
awkward
at the
stage.
right time.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then sports for me, I got into sports later in life. High school, I was blessed. I'm a big guy. I don't think I would have played any sports if it weren't for my size because there was no talent at all. Not gonna lie. Well, I played baseball when I was like 5 or 6. I will say this: I played
Okay.
for like half a season. It was a homeschool um, softball or baseball team league or whatever.
Was it softball, Tim?
I don't even know. I
I'm
don't
just
even know what the
messing with
difference
you.
is. I'm not a sports
Was
guy
it
to be
a
honest.
light green ball or was it a white ball?
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't matter because I didn't play but for half the season. And the reason why I just hated playing, so it was this homeschool league. I was playing with my brother. He was in the league, and my best friend at the time, guy named Matt. Shout out to you, Matt. This one's for you.
Shout out to
He's
Matt.
probably not listening to this. Haven't seen him in years. But anyways, they both ended up on the same team, and I ended up on a
What?
separate team, and I was like, don't want to do this. And I remember
Why?
probably the last game I played, my mom was there watching. I was in the outfield somewhere. The ball got hit, and it was probably like 3 yards away from me, just rolled past me. And I was just daydreaming, just like not a care in the world. She's like, man, I don't think he wants to be here. And we got in the car, and I was like, nope, I don't. And
See ya.
that was it.
How are they not gonna put you on the same team with your brother
I
and your
don't
best
know.
friend? At least your brother, you know?
You'd
Like,
think.
that would almost be like a dead giveaway. Um, alright, well, I would also like to add to that story that whenever I was younger, I played soccer for half a season as well. I, uh, I was horrible at it. I hardly have any memories of playing it, but I just know one time, like, I never scored a goal, and I couldn't wait to finally score.
Hmm.
And I got the ball kicked to me. I started dribbling it. I was going. I kicked it in, scored a goal, celebrated. Wrong goal. It was actually
Ooh.
on. It was like I was so young. It was like before there were even goalies. It was just like throw kids out there,
Mm,
let them run
hmm.
around and kick the ball. And I kicked into the
I
wrong
mean, at
goal. I
that
was
rate, you should have still gotten the point. Like,
right, but I was so terrified. Like I was just so upset.
disheartened. Yeah.
Quit. Quit right after that.
I
Couldn't
mean,
do it
I don't
again.
blame you.
So
Which it's interesting. They should teach kids. Soccer is just not a game where like a lot of people are going to score. I mean, it's a hard thing to do. Teach how like young children, I guess. But like it's okay in a game like that. It's kind of like
right.
football. Like 2 people out of the team are likely to score a touchdown. Everybody else, they have a different kind of job to do, you know? Everybody wants the glory, so much so that sometimes they score on their own goal.
Welcome back. You hate it. You hate it. Why? I just want to have some fun, Tim.
Well, try something different. Don't do that
Welcome
again.
back. How about that?
Ooh, I
Is
like
that good?
welcome. Howdy, partners. Welcome back to the show.
We're halfway through it now, y'all. So we kind of left off. I was talking about my soccer career, how it kind of ended short. But that was our life growing up as kids. Tim, you started to jump into your high school days where you said you started to play sports. So give us a little bit more background on that.
Well, I've mentioned this before on the show, but in high school, all 4 years actually, I played basketball. Again, I was tall. That's why I made the team. I was terrible my freshman year. And then I don't think I scored any points that whole year. And I was
That's
the biggest guy on
okay.
the team. Oh, I know. But I didn't score any points on the wrong goal. So, you know,
That's a plus.
I'm
That's
definitely
a
proud of
plus.
that. But I progressed. I had the same coach. Well, the varsity coach was the same all 4 years. So like he saw me and I guess saw some promise in me and kind of took me under his tutelage. And hey, I played with him all 4 years. My senior year, or all 3, the sophomore, junior, and senior.
Okay.
Half of senior year I started, as I mentioned.
There you go.
And then I got into music. And
Okay.
my aspirations changed a bit. Ironically, it's kind of funny looking back because music didn't really take me anywhere. I mean, I was big into music in college. I still own a guitar. I actually have a couple guitars. Don't really play them too much. Yeah, and my dreams have just changed and shifted over the decades. 3 of
Yeah.
them to be exact, almost this year. Wow,
Almost.
sheesh.
Tell the audience what day so they can send you birthday gifts.
June 7th. So that's 6/7/22.
7 months? 6 months? How many months?
6
Oh,
months.
I see what you're doing there. See what you're doing there. I'm
Yeah.
embarrassed. I'm
Yeah.
embarrassed. But that's the day y'all need to send them some gifts. So, and I'm not
Yes.
talking GIFs. I'm talking about
You can send those too.
gifts.
I'll take some
Yeah,
gifts.
happy birthday gift. All right,
Is it a
Tim. Well, thank
GIF?
you.
Is it GIF or GIF? I
I
think
think it is GIF. I
is
actually
it?
think it's
I'm a
GIF.
GIF guy.
I'm GIF as
If you're
well.
GIF, I'm GIF. We're cool.
I'm a gift giver. What about you?
Yeah. I give gifts. I don't give gifts very often.
Right. Let's
You
let's
have to
make
be
that
in my good
clear.
grace. But I can give a good GIF.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of we're hyping it up. We've got to send some gifts out. If you guys comment on our post from this week's episode, you have my word. Jacob will respond with a GIF of some sort.
I don't even know. I don't think you can respond in the comments with a GIF. But
Mark my words out.
next episode I will describe the GIF.
Ooh,
So,
even better. If you guys
right.
want that, I don't know. It's like a B grade, like GIF
Right.
before gifts
Like
were
a
a
B
thing.
grade war machine or something. Shout out to the Ramble. Everyone go listen to
Episode
Tim's
1
other
of the
podcast.
Ramble called B grade war machine. Let's go. It's
Exactly.
a great place to
Exactly.
start.
Well, thank you for catching us up on your sports career in high school and kind of where your dreams and aspirations were at that
Wait, I
point
didn't
in
tell
your
you about
life.
my football career.
Oh, you didn't tell us about football.
I didn't. Yes, I also played football 1 year in high school. It was a pretty good year. My team was bad. We had not, to my knowledge, had won. I mean, the whole time that I was at this school, they had not won a football game. At least 5 years. Not
Wow.
a single game had been won. I joined the team. And then I tear my
Undefeated
meniscus.
season.
And then I
No.
tear my meniscus. So I'm out the first half of the season. And we continue to lose. And then finally the doctor says, Timothy, it's time. You can go back to playing sports now. You've healed from your surgery well enough. I go back. It's an away game. Can't remember the
Oh,
name of the school.
no.
I start offense and defensive line. I
So
actually
you're
aid in
playing both ways.
both. I do not come off the field. I got to aid in a sack. That's the only really positive I remember from the game. The rest of the game, I was on the ground because the guy that I was always going up against just he was laying me out. But we won that game,
So
and
you're
I was,
telling me you came in, you made a splash,
you
you
know,
won the game for your team. And is
yes,
it a coincidence though? I think not, because Tim's skill and ability playing both sides of the ball, offense and defense.
mm,
That is awesome. What was your team mascot?
the Trouts.
No. Shut up. Go Trout. Go
No,
Trout boy.
no,
What
that'd be
were you?
stinky. That'd be stinky. We were the Eagles.
The Eagles. All right, there you
Mhm.
go. What were your colors?
Red, white, and blue are. Oh, I don't know if I should disclose my school's name.
No. Just go mascot, baby.
Okay. Well,
So
red,
so
white,
y'all were
and
the
blue was very
Trouts.
representative. Yeah. Yeah, the red, white, and blue Trouts.
Wow, okay. Eagles, red, white, and blue. Awesome. I dig that. Um,
We
well, thank
just
you.
as a full disclosure, um, the win was not because of me. I was so bad that by like game 8 of the season, which if you're keeping up was probably the third game that I could have played, didn't play at all. My coach was
Oh,
like,
so
"Wow,
they
this
were
guy's
like, we
bad."
thought this size was going to be able to be more of a
Yeah,
force
no.
here, but no.
So
Okay, well, nice, nice. Um, I hate to just jump ships, but I guess I'll give a little bit of my background. In high school, I played baseball. I quit playing football when I was, I think, 11, maybe 10. I tried to go back and play again when I was 11 and 12. Couldn't do it. I had like gained so much weight in one summer specifically that I was so out of shape I couldn't return to football the next year. Like I wanted to take a year off. I couldn't return because the conditioning was just so bad. I couldn't stop
they
throwing up.
didn't let you, or you just were like, "No, I'm not going to do this."
That, yeah, they let me.
Okay.
I was on a team. I went to one practice, couldn't do it, and literally was throwing up. Everyone else was like, I don't, why is this dude throwing up? Like, this isn't even bad conditioning. I was just so out of shape and literally, like, just went out there with no training prior and couldn't do it. It was just, it was so bad. So I quit playing football. Baseball was my forte. Um, Grew up playing baseball all the way through high school, wanted to be a professional baseball player, just like every other kid that grew up playing sports. Their dreams were, to make it to the big leagues. But I actually quit playing baseball my sophomore year, and then pursued a career in competitive gaming. It sounds so, but I
Did
actually,
you? Were you like live
yes.
streaming and stuff?
So I never really live streamed. I didn't have the equipment for it. But I tried to pursue a career in competitive Call of Duty. Me and my best friend JJ, we just loved playing Call of Duty. Like I said, growing up when I was a little kid, like I played video games, had all the systems, and like just continued to play and play. And Call of Duty became my game. So yes, it sounds silly, but I like really wanted to be a competitive gamer. I really thought that I was good at it, and so JJ and I got some people that we met online, and we went forward. We went to a few events. We competed at a
Oh
few events. I
wow,
went to Atlanta for an event. Went to Chattanooga, Tennessee for an event. Competed at an event at Georgia Tech. Won that event in Georgia Tech.
you won it.
Um, Won the event in Georgia Tech. Won I think this was back when Xbox had Microsoft points, so like won that, which was like probably $20 worth. Won a headset, won some T-shirts and stuff like that. There wasn't much competition there, but
Mm.
we did win an event. But yeah, so that was like a really fun part of my life, or fun part of my high school
I
career,
think
I
that's
guess I should
cool. I
say.
mean, like, I feel like that's a lot of people probably say, "Oh, I want to be a professional gamer," but like, I mean, you were successful at it somewhat. So I think that's cool that
Somewhat.
you can at least back, like, it's at least like, oh, this kid's just dreaming. I mean, like,
Right.
you were good, so that's cool.
Yeah, no, I really was good, and, like, I definitely would have continued pursuing it, but my senior year of high school came around, and my friend JJ and I were just like, we didn't want to, like, miss out on our last year of high school,
Mm,
and, like, so I remember it came down to, like, either play in this Call of Duty tournament or go to, like, a really big football game that year, and we were like, "We're going to the football game." And so we just didn't wanna miss out on, like, our
life.
last
Yeah,
this,
I mean, it's your yeah,
and
for sure.
so, from there, my dreams and aspirations definitely changed. Obviously, I wasn't pursuing sports anymore. I wasn't pursuing like competitive gaming or gaming in any way. And from there, kind of my life just, I didn't really know where I wanted to go. I was obviously interested in sports, interested in like gaming or creating creative content in some sorts. And so when I went into college, I didn't really have like a major that I wanted to pursue until a few years in where I found film and digital media. So that's kind of where I landed when it came to college was uh, pursuing a career in film and digital media. So I will kind of end it there and then go back to you, Tim. So after high school, you're now going into college. Did you have a plan? Did you have like a goal or anything you were wanting to reach through college? Like when you went to college, did you know what you wanted to go for or what you want
So
to get
I
out of it?
started college with the intent to, like, pursue music.
Okay.
I very quickly changed course. I still stuck with music for a long time, but I that was no longer, like, my major, because
Okay.
I'd heard a lot of things, like, unless you're, like, wanting to be a teacher or something, like, a degree in music isn't really gonna get you, you know, I don't know. It wasn't gonna get me where I wanted to go.
Right.
So, I changed my major to business, had no idea what I wanted to do. Um, and then I pretty quickly realized that, like, music was a hobby, but it wasn't really, like, my passion. Somehow I landed on coffee.
Okay.
I don't really know what it was. I think I just saw, like, and I didn't even like coffee at the time.
Hmm. So you
But I
didn't even
just
like coffee, but you wanted to pursue
yeah, well, I mean, I didn't
something
like
within
the
it.
taste of coffee. But I learned through college, like, the power of coffee, specifically in community, like the way that coffee is able to bring people together. I really liked that,
Okay.
and I wanted to create an environment where that were possible. Kind of paralleled with my music because I love, like, this, the singer songwriter playing in a coffee shop. Like, that was just like that's
Right.
my vibe in college, and so I started kind of like shifting my focus to making that happen, and got a job at Starbucks, which was not really the kind of coffee I wanted to do, but at least got my foot in the door. That's where
Right.
I actually, like, started liking the taste of coffee at least. So it got me
Okay.
there. And then, yeah, I don't know, like, graduated and then went to work for a coffee shop that wasn't really a coffee shop. It was more like a deli, which you were actually,
Okay.
I think our paths probably crossed some there,
You
which
really
is
I
pretty
don't
wild.
know. Did it? Do you think it did?
Well,
I
you're
know where this is
familiar.
kind of like a vague conversation, but there is like this deli slash cafe, I guess you should call it, where we, I guess we both worked at in this. I mean, I grew up in this town. Tim works
Mhm.
there or did work there, I guess now, because he got the promotion, y'all. By the way, we didn't even update
Skirt.
anybody, but Tim got the promotion. So,
Got the promotion.
um,
But, yes, so
but
this coffee shop, and it was not open for very long,
right,
um, and that's why I think our paths probably crossed. Because, like,
maybe
I worked
so.
there for at least half the time that it was open. I mean, when I say it wasn't open very long, it was probably like a year, year and a half maybe, and I was there for 6, 7 months. But anyways, my experience there kind of burned me on that. Um, I don't know, I just kind of got lost in the sauce, and, like, I don't know, like, now where I'm at, and I know, this can kinda segue into our future aspirations. I don't know that I necessarily have, um, like, career dreams. What I
Okay,
do now is not something that I grew up, like, wanting to do. No kid grows up wanting to do what I do right now. And I'm not going to get into that. I do enjoy my job. I love my job.
Right.
But it's not like it's not the dream
Like I
job,
said,
right?
I grew up like kids playing sports want to be professional sports
Right.
players.
Nothing
No
like
one
that.
grows up with like that per se.
Yeah. And so, but I love my job and I'm pursuing it to the best of my ability. And I hope to be successful in that. I have a family now. I've got a beautiful wife. I've got a kid. I've got a dog. And, that's my passion. My dream now is obviously to take care of them and, um, just live life and provide the best life for them. Really, if I had any creative aspirations, it's podcasting. So, and you and I have, of course, been friends for a few years now, and we've pursued this for a long time. And I think we have a lot of creative ideas that we hope to bring to fruition one day. But this is probably the biggest.
Definitely. Definitely. I can share that same aspiration with you for the future. I know I haven't really I'll jump into my like college
Let's
life
hear it.
and what I guess I'll get into my future aspirations as well after that. But like I said, when I got into college, I kind of found a love for film, digital media, kind of really dove headfirst into the world of film, was watching like 150 plus movies a year for a little while. Just really trying to just
What's your favorite one?
No Country for Old Men. I've got it ready, man. No Country
He
for
was
Old Men
ready
by
for
the
that one.
Coen brothers. Absolutely love it.
Still haven't seen it.
It's amazing. You've got to see it. We actually, whenever COVID kind of hit, a lot of theaters started showing classics in the theaters, just because there wasn't any new movies coming out. And one theater in Atlanta actually played it, and so me and Clarissa drove up and or drove down to it and watched it. So yeah, it was awesome to finally like watch that one in theater because it came out in 2007. So um, but yeah, so really just dove headfirst into film, trying to just literally immerse myself with as much as I could and learn as much as I could. I for my time in film school, created multiple short films and wrote multiple short films,
My
TV
favorite one
series.
of those is a film called Roulette. Um,
Why is that one your favorite though?
there's a character in there. He doesn't have any lines.
He's a
But he's
slimy guy, isn't he?
he's a little slimy. He is a
Tim
henchman,
and you got
and
to play him.
he plays cards. Yeah, I got to star in that one. Well, not
Tim
star, but
stars
I
in it.
was I was like an
Side
extra.
character.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Do I even have a
Um,
name in the credits? I don't even know.
I think
Is it
you're a
just like
poker player. Poker player 1
nice?
or poker
Okay.
player 2, something like that.
Boom. If you guys watch that film, shout me out in the comments on
Yes,
on
take a
YouTube.
screenshot of Tim and
Golly.
send it to us.
I don't even think you can see my
Um,
face. You crop my
oh,
face
you
out. It's
can. No,
literally
well, it cuts it out on one part. I just for some reason loved the shot, and then in another angle, you can see her face.
let's go.
So, you can definitely tell it's Tim in there.
That's the
So
first of many future
yes, because
credits for
me and
me.
you, we've talked about creating some stuff together,
Hey,
so
we'll
it
get
could be
there.
something we do in the future. But yeah, so just like I said, created multiple short films, wrote a lot of film and like film screenplays and TV series stuff and all that goodness, and submitted films into film festivals, got in, you know, just kind of did all of that cool stuff during that time. And I actually graduated this past year. After I graduated, I started my own film production company with a close friend of mine, and we kind of did some. We did a music video. We did some corporate interview
For
type stuff. Actually,
Beyonce,
got to
right?
yeah, it was for Beyonce. Didn't want to really flex, but it was for Beyonce. Uh, not at all. But we actually had the privilege to fly out to Houston and shoot a gig out there with with a nonprofit organization. Did some advertisements, creative advertisements for some companies, and yeah, and then I've kind of took a break from that. Just I got really burnt out from school and just constantly like creating and being under the stress of like deadlines and stuff, and which obviously I know that just comes apart with life in itself. But I just definitely needed a break. So I took a break. And within that break, I reached back out to Tim because we have tried creating podcasts in the past. I just told him, I was like, I hadn't been like the last podcast we tried doing, I was just so happy the entire time. And so I told Tim, I was like, I haven't been able to find that happiness since we finished it. And so then I was like, we've got to come up with something else.
Mm.
And eventually, as time, flew by,
Jacob said to me, this is how this podcast began. He said, I just
quote,
want to do a podcast on either sports or music. And I was like, dude, I don't really, I mean, well, obviously I mentioned music, but like you were talking about hip hop actually. And that's not really
mm-hmm.
my line of music. And I was like, dude, I'm not your guy. Like and I literally said, I'm not a sports guy. I'm not and boom, there it was.
There it was right in front of our face. And don't as much as we love this podcast and are having so much fun, like me and Tim have so many ideas. We're always like just thinking creatively of like what could be the next thing. We obviously don't think we're giving up on you guys at all. We're here till the end with Not a Sports Guy. But hopefully this can reach a point where we can do this podcast as well as like pursuing other creative outlets at the same time. So that's definitely a dream and aspiration for me. Obviously, I want to grow this podcast as much as we can, have just so much fun with as many listeners as we can, and kind of grow our own community here. But at the same time, definitely be able to explore some of those other creative outlets. But other than that, like this is besides career and everything, like I have aspirations. I want to get married this year. That is
Let's
something, like
go.
you mentioned, you have a family. I want to have a family of my own. I want to get married this year and just continue to, you know, focus on that relationship and continue to pursue different experiences and avenues with my wife one day. So um, that's also a very big part of my life. So,
Mm.
um, but I know we've kind of hit the 50-minute mark here almost, y'all. And we do have a few questions for one another. So hopefully you can stay with us just a little bit longer. And you know what? Let's take one more break. Welcome back to the podcast. How was that?
I
Did you
like
that one?
it. You kind of kept up with the Western theme, but you
That's
threw
what I
some
went for. That's what I
some
went for.
musical elements into it. I like it.
So we've got some questions for one another. These aren't so just like basic. Not really basic. But you know what I'm saying? Like, tell me about your high school years. Tell me about your college. These are more like, let's get to know some of the maybe fun things. Let's some more of the interesting things about one another. So Tim, I'm gonna let you ask the first question.
Okay.
And I have to answer this.
Okay.
I can't deflect.
Do you want like a fun question or like a
Whatever you want to go with first. I feel like you were going with like a spicy one first.
Okay. This is probably going to be my favorite question. I'm going to go ahead and ask for it first.
All right.
Actually, you know what? Okay. Let's start with this one. What's your most embarrassing sports moment that you've had?
It's funny because I'm sure there are so many other embarrassing moments that I had in my sports career. But the first one I can think of, I think it's probably because it affected me the most at the time. I was gosh, I don't even remember how old I was. I was probably 9 or so. I was pretty young. And it was during because in my little league, they had coach pitch, then they had machine pitch where they would like put it in the machine, it would shoot it at you, and then obviously kid pitch. So I think this was like in the machine pitch league. And I remember I hit the ball, I was running to first base, and I just face planted as hard as I could. Like, I'm sure many people have experienced this, but you're just running so hard and you just kind of get head over heels and it's just face plant. I'm like It happened so quickly, I couldn't even, like, process what had happened until I was already, like, standing up, probably crying too, at the same time, probably crying on the way to first base after I got up. But that's, like, the first one that comes to my head. I know that one's not really, like, juicy because it's just kind of
No, I
like,
like it. I
you
didn't
know,
even think about as I was asking the question, I was like, "Well, you already told me that you scored on your own goal in soccer
that
and
is
stuff."
pretty embarrassing too, though.
Yeah. So
I can't think of anything else that was super embarrassing. Oh, I was, in flag football. I played flag football for a little extended period of time when I was probably, I don't know, 7 years old maybe, and, I was the running back for my team. And I had actually, I was like, I guess, did a play. I was running past this guy. He went to grab onto my flag, but he actually grabbed onto my shorts and ripped them as I was
yikes.
running. So I don't think I stopped. I think I scored on the play too. I think I
Let's
scored a touchdown,
go.
but my
Bro, you
butt
did
was
not let it
showing.
stop
It
you.
wasn't like I had underwear on, obviously, but it was like my
Yeah.
underwear and my butt
Oh, yeah.
showing. Uh, but yeah, that felt good. That felt good, to
I mean, what
score.
a way to show them, though, you just took it
Right.
to the end zone, man. I like that. Nice. I only asked for 1. You
Exactly.
didn't have to share both, but cool.
Well, hey, I need some time to kind of let them start coming back to me. So,
Okay.
all right, Tim. Let's start with this one. Do you believe in any conspiracy theories?
Ooh, that's a great question. I love a good conspiracy theory. Who doesn't,
Mhm.
right?
Me too. Love it.
Um, I like to hear about a lot. I don't know that I've ever put too much stock into any of them. This is gonna be kind of strange. I mean, face value, most of the conspiracy theories, I just like. I don't think that I could really believe,
Okay.
but I want to believe in one. And so for a long time, last year actually, I was like, I don't have any reason to believe this, but I'm going to convince myself that Bigfoot is real. And so like I was like seeking out like proof, even though like I knew that he probably isn't real. I'm
Right.
like, I'm going to convince myself. So I started listening to Bigfoot podcast and
Ooh, that sounds fun.
watching like, Bigfoot myth or legend or whatever, the weird
Okay, I see
little
what you're saying.
stuff on Hulu. I did not walk away convinced, but I was hoping, man. I was hoping.
Okay.
It's a fun one.
Right, that's a fun one for
Relatively
sure.
harmless
But
conspiracy
you're
theory
not
to
like a
buy into.
big, like, the moon landing was fake, 9/11
Yeah, I
was an
mean,
inside job.
right. Those are all super interesting, and I like to hear the theories behind them. Yeah, I don't know. You say the moon landing is fake. I've heard recently some pretty like, "Ooh, I don't
Ooh,
know,"
really?
but I just don't think about it enough. And like, it's one of those things where like I'm not trying to get political here.
Right.
I used to work with a guy, actually you and I both worked with a guy who's a flat earther, and it
Really? I don't
it
even know who you're
started.
talking about.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you about him
Here,
later.
say the name, I'll bleep it out. Okay, okay.
Uh but and it started a lot of conversations in our office, and I found it to be super interesting. Never was convinced. And his biggest thing was like, I can't believe the government's been lying to us. And I guess like I just kind of came to the conclusion, was like, man, maybe the earth really is flat and maybe the government has been lying to us.
No, don't tell me
Um,
you started buying in, Tim.
no, 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 just listen.
Okay,
Golly. No,
okay,
no,
I
no. So
jumped the gun.
I was like, maybe you're right, but like, what effect has that had on my life? And maybe that's what they want me to think, right? I don't know. But like, I'm
Right,
happy with my life. I'm happy with thinking the earth is round. Like, it's not negatively impacting me to anything that I can be aware of. I'm happy believing it. And I think the same thing for the Earth or the moon landing, right? Like if we didn't really land on the moon, maybe that's true. I don't know that like if that were to be proven to be a myth
how
or
much would
faked
that
or whatever,
affect our life?
I just don't think it would, right? So like I don't
Yeah,
know, like I like to entertain my the idea, but
right.
like I don't know, I'm not going to like devote serious faith in like, well, this was fake and I'm going to prove it,
Right.
And I don't know. I mean, I will say the 9/11 stuff that probably would have some more like heavy consequences, right? Like, I mean, that's
Right.
not only is it like current, but it involves more like relevant political and
Well,
governmental.
I don't know. Think about it though. Like, if does that hold more weight though than the moon landing being fake? Because like, think about it. Like, we're to the point now that we're on Mars. So if the moon landing was fake, then Mars definitely is fake. You know, like if we couldn't reach the moon, what makes you think we can reach Mars?
Well, I
So it's
guess
kind of
my thought
like,
but that's all like, I don't know, like 9/11, like if it's an inside job, that means our government is killing our own people. That's like way
right,
heavier than like, well, we're just lying to our people. I mean, it's still like government sucks, which isn't that interesting how like the government's always the enemy and all these conspiracies,
right.
except for Bigfoot, which again is why I'm just like, hey, cool. Nobody's really the bad guy here except for Bigfoot because he won't show his face.
Is he the
But
bad guy
like,
though?
he might be. I don't know. Not on Jack Link's commercials. He just wants his
He's
beef
such a good
jerky.
guy. What about isn't there Geico commercials? There used to be Geico
Hmm.
commercials. It's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
easy a caveman can do it. Those are
Well,
pretty
that's a
funny.
caveman. That's not a Sasquatch. Very different. And
We're
I'm a
gonna
little
act like
insulted as a
that
squatcher,
didn't.
as a hopeful squatcher. I've got it, but no,
A
Geico actually does have
hopeful
some commercials.
squatcher. 'Cause you don't believe enough to be one
I'm
yet.
just I'm out there writing letters to Sasquatch. Like,
But
I want
let's
to
be
believe in
honest, the
you.
Geico caveman looked like a Sasquatch. Let's be honest.
No, they just look like a caveman. There's a big difference.
Well, you don't
They
know
look
what an
like,
actual caveman looked like.
yes, we do. We have museums with like recreations of Neanderthals.
Are those actual recreations or are those what
Well,
we think they look like?
based on their bone structure, it's what we think they look like. I mean, it's not an exact science, but Sasquatches are believed to be a lot larger and a lot more hairy. And I'm convinced that if there's a Sasquatch, that's what he looks like.
Tim, you're a squatcher. I'm making it official. You are an
Let's
official
go. You
squatcher.
know what? Forget this podcast, not a sports guy. We are going on the hunt.
Not a
Join
squatch
us
guy.
next week.
We're completely changing directions here.
Oh, man. Could you imagine? That was a great
Awesome.
question. Thank you so much.
Of
All right.
course.
If this is probably a classic question,
Okay.
but I think this will say a lot about who you are.
Oh, okay.
If you could hang out with any celebrity, dead or alive,
Mm,
who would it be? This is a two-parter. And what would
okay.
y'all do? I'm talking about hang
Okay.
out. Like, this is like half a day, like afternoon. You're hanging
Okay.
out.
So this isn't like you get one day to do whatever you want. It's just like we're going over to this person's maybe house or we're going to meet up for or whatever we want to do, right?
Yeah, you play around a golf, go driving through the city, whatever you want to do.
Man, not gonna lie, the first person that jumped into my brain was Mac Miller.
Ooh.
Um, as we all know, Mac Miller passed away. Probably, I think it was 2018. Absolutely loved Mac Miller's music, and I've just found myself like every single year since he's passed, like going back and listening to more and more of his music. And I don't know, man. Like we definitely don't have like the same like hobbies and interests. He's very much a stoner. That is just not something that I partake in. Don't have a problem with it, but it's just not something I do. So that's you know, I would
Would you
probably want to
partake in it
if
for
Mac
him though?
Miller wanted
He's
me to,
like, "Come on,
yes.
bro. Take a
Yes.
hit."
I would do it for Mac Miller. So probably hang out with Mac Miller and honestly would probably just like literally hang out in his probably home studio and just listen to music with him or something like
All
that.
right.
Maybe he's like making a beat because he's a producer, or maybe he's just like playing the guitar because he multiple instrumentalist. And I don't know, probably just hang out and listen to music with him. I think that would be so much fun. Obviously, part of me wants to be like, I'll pick a sports guy because, I'll maybe go out and play baseball with Freddie Freeman or something or
But who
Ozzy
would wanna do
Albies.
that though? Like, really? Like,
I
you wanna
do. I
go
would because I
like,
love it.
yeah, but you'd get, well, I mean, with baseball, maybe it's a little bit harder to say, but you'd get creamed. Like if I was like,
Well,
"Oh,
no,
I'd
like it
love to hang
wouldn't
out with
be
Steph Curry
like,
and go play one-on-one with him." No,
no.
he's just gonna own me.
Well, of course, because you're not going to say let's play 1-on-1. Maybe at least one time you'll say that, but then after that, you're like, let's just shoot around together. Let's hang out. I could imagine he's like, come to the Oracle Arena or Oracle Center, whatever, wherever they play, Golden State plays. He's like, I'll get you in, me and you on the court, just shooting hoops. You would do
Just
that,
shooting around? Oh, yeah. But
but
if you think if I played Steph 1-on-1 at 21, you think I could get a point off?
no,
Not
no,
one?
not one.
Dang.
Because all he have to do is shoot 3 after 3. He could hit all the way up to
No,
21
we're not
or
playing make it take
11.
it, though. We're not playing make it take it.
You think you can drive on Steph? So y'all are actually probably the same height. You're
Similar in
6'3",
height.
6'4"?
I'm 6'5". I might have an inch on you.
6'5". Wow. Okay,
Mhm.
Tim. He's
He would
6'3", I think.
snatch that ball so quick
Oh,
from me if I
so
put it on the
fast.
ground. Golly.
Oh man. But yeah, final answer. I'm gonna go Mac Miller.
All right.
And that's probably some people are like, you could go back and talk to Abraham Lincoln or somebody. No, not me. Okay, Tim. Next question. What's your biggest fear? Going with the hard hitters here.
I gotta think about
Biggest
this one. You
fear.
know, I don't.
Because I've got one that comes off the top of my head. If you want some time to think.
Spiders. Probably spiders.
Wow.
You hated those. What were those
Oh,
spiders that
you would
plagued
think
our
that I
world
would
for a little bit?
know the name of them, but my mind's going blank right now.
That's
The
fine.
Juro spiders.
Juros, yes.
The Japanese Juro spiders in Georgia. Absolutely hate them.
I don't know that I haven't. Like, I don't guess I live too like fearfully.
That's
I
fair.
mean, obviously, like I'm scared of death. Who's not? But like
would you say like a tornado or like another big fear of mine is like being stranded in the middle of the ocean,
okay,
like
yes. I mean,
drowning.
in terms of like worst ways to die, drowning is probably one of my biggest fears. Like, I'd rather burn alive. I
Really?
say that now, like obviously I was given. I don't know, but like yes. If I was dropped in the middle of the ocean, it would be the worst feeling because I tend to panic when I'm in water. Like I've historically have had a lot of bad experiences. Not to mention, I'm in the middle of the ocean. I can't see anything. Probably going to get
Right.
bit by a shark or squid or something like that.
Oh,
Just
imagine like a kraken.
I
Oh
would
my
rather
gosh.
I would rather like get chased on land by a bear than like be trapped in the water with a shark. I'm going to die either way. I recognize that. But
Mm,
like there's just something about being on land I have a little bit more control. But I'm in the
right.
water, there's nothing.
Oh my
So that's one of
gosh,
my
that's
biggest.
terrifying to me.
Yes.
So
Just hate it.
terrifying.
I hate it so much. That's probably up there.
Yeah. Are
Yeah,
there any insects that you're scared of or anything?
I
Nothing.
mean, I
Snakes.
don't like cockroaches are probably like my least like
Oh
they give me the creeps, the heebie-jeebies. I woke up with one on my face when I was like
no,
3,
dude, I can't even handle this. Don't even say it.
but I don't have like an irrational fear of them. Like,
What about
I'm not
ghosts? Do you believe? I guess. Do you believe in ghosts? Maybe.
is this a question? Or is this one of
It's
your because
not a
I feel like
question,
that's
but I'm just trying to like probe you a little bit, find out
okay.
if maybe you have some fears that you haven't thought of.
Um I mean, I don't know where I stand with the paranormal stuff, but I tried it. Like I say, I try to
Like
steer clear of that.
generally speaking, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on the situation. If I'm with somebody, my courage level's way up. If it's literally just me and one other person, like if it's like a friend like you, like I'm excited. Like this is
Mm-hmm.
scary as crap, but like we're in it together. Or if it's like my wife,
Mm-hmm.
I'm in protective mode. So like you know what I mean? But like if I'm
Right.
by myself, like I will not put myself in situations where like I don't think I believe in ghosts, but like I'm not gonna go into this haunted house and find out by myself. You know what I mean?
Right. What if you were like walking on a path with your dog Hank, pitch black, and he starts freaking out. He's like
Okay.
barking in all sort of directions.
Okay. So this is a reference,
Are you scared
guys.
of the dark?
I'm not scared of the dark. I was walking my dog the other night. I told Jacob about this and he's gonna play it. He's gonna play me now, make me look like a
I'm
like,
just
we'll
wanting
see.
to explore this.
Yeah, so we were walking. There's a trail behind my house. We were walking one night, and this trail is not lit, which is normally not a bother for me. It's just me and him, and I'm listening to. Actually, I was listening to a message that you had left me, which normally I'm listening to like true crime, which will get kind of give me the heebie-jeebies when I'm out there. But I was like listening to you had left a message for me. I'm listening to that, and I've got my AirPods in, and they're in like silence mode, which is probably a terrible idea when I'm out walking. But I'm like, my dog's with me. Like, if there's any kind of threat, he'll let me know. Sure enough, he starts kind of like turning his head behind him and freaking out. And so, like, I don't have time to like pause the message. So I'm like looking behind me, and I don't, and the best that I can, as dark as it is, I don't see anybody. So I'm just like, well, I don't think I should be worried. He's not like growling or anything like that. He's just kind of like, he's looking around like he hears something or sees something. And so, like, I've, shuffle my phone out, and I pause the message. And then I can kind of hear, beyond the soundproofness of my
This
headphones,
is
just this cackling in the background. Uh, and I was like, what is that noise? And it was from a little distance away, but I just heard it, and it just kept getting louder and louder and more. So it was like clearly more than
this is
one
creeping me out so much just
right now.
listening to this. Yes.
And I kind of came to the conclusion relatively quickly that there's probably some coyotes in the woods. And then I was like, well, and I've actually been reading the coyotes are starting to like appear more in my area. So I was like, well, I don't know if they'll mess with me. I don't know if like I'm big enough to like deter them, but I know that they sometimes do come after dogs. Hank is a pretty big dog. Like, he's a 50-pound dog. Like, maybe they won't come after him. But so I was like, I'm just going to keep walking. I'm fine. We're fine. Then just this thought kept creeping up in my head, like maybe there's like 7 of them, and they probably think they could take the 2 of us, and they probably could, to be honest.
Right.
Hank is not going to do anything. He's a sweet dog, but I don't think he'd fight. He'd just lay over thinking they're playing with him,
Right.
and they'd rip his belly out. So then, like, I'm just like, I've got like a quarter of a mile left back to my house, and I'm just trying to take a leisurely stroll. And I'm just like, there's a moment where I'm like, I'm just going to walk it out. I'm moving away from where this is coming from. And then in a split second, I was just like, nope. And I just took off. And I have not run like that in a long time. And I got back to my house just sweating bullets. And oof.
Man, dude, I'm honest. I'm not lying. I got creeped out while listening to that, and I already knew the story. Like, I already knew what was going to happen, everything. But I was like looking around, looking out my window, everything, getting creeped out again.
I'll tell you this,
But
I have not walked that trail since then. Not at least at
oh,
night. I did walk it
okay.
once during the day. I wasn't worried about it then. But
Do you think you'll go back at night?
probably not. Not at least until the summer, maybe. I don't know why. I just feel like if they're out in the winter, that means that's their season. So I'm just going to
Okay.
believe that the summer they're not out as
Okay.
much. I could be way wrong. I
We'll
might
see.
call the city and complain, because this is a public trail and
What
it's
would you
not
complain
lit.
about?
That
Oh,
it's
that's
not
not
lit. I
lit.
want them to put some
Okay.
lights up out there. Like it's
Oh,
just, I
what?
mean, it's
I
their
feel like that
job.
might be creepy too, though. Like, imagine there just being like a lamppost.
Just one
Just
lamppost. Yeah, because
yes,
this trail goes through the woods. So it's
dude.
just like,
I can't keep talking about this. I'm getting freaked
well,
out.
hold on though. What's creepier, like a trail in the middle of the woods with no
I can't
lights,
have
or
this
a trail
conversation.
in the woods with one light? Like, what's creepier? I want to know.
I
That's
think with one light, because it's like, why is there just one light out here? Like, what you think it would like light the trail? But no, there's just one single light. It's like, who's
I
waiting,
really think that trail it would make such a good setting for like a scary movie. I think
dude?
about that a lot.
I can't do it. I can't even think
And I
about it.
like to think, this is weird and maybe slightly sadistic of me, but
Oh, we learn about Tim tonight.
I enjoy like thinking about like being the creepy person on the trail. Like, sometimes I'm like, man, imagine somebody else is out here that I don't know.
Mhm.
I would
Like,
find some
freak them
sort of
out.
like, yeah, I would just love to run at them. Like, I wouldn't get to them. I'd steer off, but I would just, like, it's dark at night, maybe just kind of make some creepy noises, and I'm just running at them, because I would just love to see. This makes me sound like a
You wanna
psychopath. Maybe
prank
I am.
somebody.
I just want to see the fear and them just like, what are they gonna do? Like I could just see like it's a middle-aged woman just trying to get her steps in. Just want to see like what is she gonna do? Fight or flight,
Trying
you
to
know?
get her steps in. I want to see the fear in her eyes. I'm going to quote that.
But I would never do that actually, I don't think. But
I don't think. Didn't say he wouldn't.
I would do it if it were like being filmed. I would
And being like
definitely
a
do it.
prank or something.
Yeah, but I wouldn't
That's
do it
hilarious.
I wouldn't do it just for my own, like, you know,
Right.
I'm never gonna tell anybody about this. That was just for
Yeah.
me. No.
All
Anyways,
right,
I'm sorry
Tim.
for that really long rant. You really took us
No,
off.
it's all right. How about this? Let's do one more question each.
All right.
All right. It's your turn to ask me.
All right. If you had a boat, what would you name it?
A boat. What would I name it? Dude, I've got no clue. I have no clue what I would name my boat.
You got to figure it out right now.
I'd probably want to name it something like funny. I actually had a cat one time I named Terrence. Just for the heck of it. I thought Terrence was a funny name for a cat. What
Just a
about like
name.
what I know, but like I think that's hilarious when people like name their cats just regular names. Like that's Paul or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's funny.
So what if
Yeah.
that would? I think that could be funny for a boat. Maybe name it just like a normal person's name. Like
Just Paul.
What about Humphrey? I have no clue, dude. What would
I mean, I was
do
kind
you
of
have an
thinking
idea?
like not specifically, but a lot of people like name their boats like, creative names like I'm trying to look some up real quick.
Well, no, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like
Okay.
I just can't come up with something off the top of my head.
Yeah, I
I would
gotcha.
maybe name it the
Okay, your
Rio
boat.
Rivera.
Okay. And
How
and
about
what's
that?
that in reference to?
Well, it's actually a taco spot down in I want to say maybe Orlando or something like that. It's a really good
Okay.
taco spot, has great fish tacos. So,
Check it out,
I
guys. If
don't
you
know,
guys are in the
just like
Orlando area, check out Rio Rivera and let us know your thoughts.
yeah, I like
And
Rio Rivera.
if you're on the coast, be on the lookout for Terrence the Tugboat.
Terrence the Tugboat. That's great. I'll name it Terrence the Tugboat.
All
There we
right.
go. I like that.
All right.
Gosh, such a good question. I hate that I didn't have a better name,
That's okay.
but you really named it for me after I said Terrence. So Terrence the Tugboat. All right, Tim. Mine's not. I already hit you with two really good ones that I had. So this last one's not going to be as fun.
Okay.
But we've kind of talked a little bit about music. You've talked about your music background. Tell us, Tim, who are some of your favorite musical artists?
Currently?
Just currently of all time, back in the day, just to kind of get a gauge of kind of what kind of music guy you are.
In high school, this was the case, but even more so now. I really like acoustic, singer-songwriter type stuff. I'm not big into like rock, like hard rock,
Mm-hmm.
As I mentioned, I'm not a big hip hop guy. So really some of my like favorite musicians currently, Ben Rector has gained some fame as of late. I actually don't really like a lot of his newer stuff.
Okay.
Hot take, I guess.
Hot take.
Need I
Get them
play
ready.
Yeah. I probably most of you listening don't even know who Ben Rector is, but check him out for sure. Check out his older stuff though, and his newer stuff. His newer stuff is good, just not my favorite. Rustin Kelly, another lesser known person, if you're familiar at all, which I don't even like country music all that much,
Mm-hmm.
but there is an artist within the country music scene by the name of Casey Musgraves, who I like her music some, but she was for a time at least married to Rustin Kelly. I think that's how my wife found him. I've been to
Okay.
a few of his shows. He's really good, really talented
Oh wow,
musician.
nice.
So, yeah.
All right. So those are kind of your musical interests nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, nice. I like you said, I'm kind of more on the hip hop side. I'd mentioned Mac Miller earlier. I'm a big J. Cole, Kanye West.
Jason
Gosh.
Derulo.
Used to middle school days. Big Jason Derulo fan here. No, but yeah, just hip hop really is kind of where I'm at. I like, Kendrick, Denzel Curry. That's a more not as famous guy, I guess. He's definitely famous, but he's not on like J. Cole. Obviously, I like Drake, but he's not one of my favorites. I'm probably leaving out some people, but yeah, that's kind of my musical taste. So, let's wrap it up, Tim. We've been going for a while here. This is a little bit longer of an episode, but maybe you guys will enjoy this. Again, I'm out of town. That's why you're getting this kind of episode. You're not getting your normal basketball fix, but next week it'll be back to normal. We appreciate every single listener we have. Thank you so much for following, subscribing to our YouTube channel, liking our posts, and making sure that we are a part of your weekly podcast listen. So we very much appreciate you. Tim, do you have any closing words? I always lean to you and ask if you have anything else to say.
No, nothing.
Oh, wow. Powerful.
I appreciate you guys. That's it,
Yeah, seriously. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, TikTok at Not a Sports Guy Podcast, and email us with any questions and concerns. Hopefully there's none of that at Not a Sports Guy Podcast at
we do like drama, though.
So yeah, definitely. We're down for drama. I mean, let us know if there's anything going on. So yeah, thank you all for tuning in to life outside of sports.
Wait, do we have a listener of the week?
Oh, wow. Tim, you saved the show. You honestly just saved the show. I don't know what I would have done.
Let's find out who's going to thank me later. Let's find out. You can thank me.
Can I get a drum roll?
That's all I got. No drum rolls.
Actually, that wasn't an actual drum roll. We're actually going to give a shout out to one of our newer Instagram followers. Okay, hasn't commented on anything just yet, but a new Instagram follower nonetheless. It is I'm_Massum_X. I'm_Massum_X. Thank you for being a follower of the Non Sports Guy Podcast and checking out some of our content on Instagram.
Mr. or Mrs. Massum X, you're welcome.
It is a guy.
First of all.
It is a guy.
All right, Mr. Massum X, you're welcome for reminding Jacob to give you the shout out, but you did not comment.
That is very true.
We would appreciate it if you would comment to earn that shout out. So please, if you're listening to this now, just go comment. You can say whatever you want.
We're actually going to bleep your name out until you comment, then we'll unbleep it.
But then he's not going to know that it's him that needs to comment.
That's very true.
Maybe this whole episode, it will just stay bleeped. No, we'll leave it unbleeped. I know this is not how it's supposed to go. Jacob just really kind of threw a loop into the... It's fine. Mr. Massum X, please. We beg of you. You're making me beg, Jacob. Thanks a lot. You know what,
making
Mr.
you do
X,
anything.
Thank you for liking or following us or whatever you did with social media that got you this like. You don't have to comment. We would appreciate if you did. Share us with your friends. That would be wonderful.
Yeah, share us with your friends, everyone. Please. If you enjoy the podcast, maybe your friends will enjoy it too, and it'll be something y'all can talk about together. Make fun of us together. Maybe something like that, right? Maybe making fun of you, right?
Maybe making fun of you.
Nope. And with that being said, see ya.
All right, we
See ya.